there is a bit of education. What are you finding like some of the feedback that you're getting from your consumers or new audience? Like, what do they first ask you? And then how are you overcoming those hurdles for them so they're more willing to try the product? Especially if they've already tried maybe another kind of cup or disc and they had a bad experience. Like, how are you selling them like this is different?
Yeah, that's such a great question. So we do a lot of education, like we said. We have a lot of the same questions that come up over and over again, where they just ask, what's the difference between cups and discs? And I'm showing an anatomy model, for those that are listening, but this is just showing like where it's located within the anatomy, where a disc sits higher above, the cup. The cup sits in the vaginal canal, and a disc sits in the posterior fornix, and so it's great for people with like, you know. weaker pelvic floors. It's great for mess-free period sex. Which is amazing. Breaking all the taboos here. Discs are wonderful because it has a flexible basin. So there's different reasons why people use cups and discs. So they ask us those questions all the time. How to wash the underwear, how to use it for the first time. It's so scary. So some ways we tackle that is I tell them it only takes one moment of bravery. Put it outside your shower when you're ready. When you're in your shower, it's a no risk zone. You have water as the natural lubricant that helps. You can be on your period. You don't have to be on your period. You can try putting the cup, inserting it. All you're doing is you're just folding it down into a figure C, and it gets about the size of a tampon. You're inserting it, horizontally into the vaginal canal, and then you let it pop open. And it just needs to sit below the cervix, which most people don't know where the cervix is. But fortunately, as they become cup users, they start understanding more about their anatomies too. So this beautiful thing happens where it opens up conversations. It opens them up to explore their anatomy a little bit more. And we say, hey, reach up there and figure out where your cervix is. If it hits your first knuckle in your finger, then it's a lower cervix. Like me, I've had 6 children, so I have a little bit of prolapse. So my cervix is pretty low. If you can't reach it, you have a high cervix. If you can, it's about the middle, then that's about a middle-sized cervix. And it's really about just positioning it under the cervix. So people get a little bit more familiar to understand where that positioning is. And so it's a lot of that education, and we do a lot of things to be able to answer these questions for people. Number one, we're big on TikTok. We do live selling on TikTok. We do these live sessions where people can ask us in real time, all of their questions. It really has helped with the Gen Z consumers. And generally people are in this customer journey where they've heard about cups or discs or period underwear. They've heard about it. They've heard they could be life-changing. They're scared to use it because, like you said, behavior change is just hard. And so it really is just about addressing those doubts in a real straightforward way, and usually with somebody who's a trusted source. So whether it's my voice, someone from our team, or someone who's a podcaster, an influencer, someone else who's tried it, who's talking about it, that's really the number one thing we can bring to do. I'll say it again. That's really the number one thing we can do to bring awareness to these reusable products, and these ones that are really better for our bodies and the environment as a whole, is just talking about them more, having more conversations. So that's why I'm doing this podcast today. That's why we're having these TikToks that are able to answer these questions, and why we really just try to get awareness out and more education.
It's so true. It's like we have to make it more normalized so it doesn't seem so scary or still taboo in so many ways. And I have to say, I applaud you for using TikTok live shopping because I think it is one of the most underutilized marketing tools out there. So my main business is Boomtown Marketing. So it's all marketing, social media heavy. And I still can't believe after I think TikTok Live launched maybe 5 years ago at this point, and that more
Uh-huh.
brands aren't on it because listen, I buy stuff off there all the time. I think it's awesome to be able to have somebody showing the product and then talking about it. And like you said, okay, obviously they're not probably inserting your product on live TV, but to be able to show you like the anatomical model you just showed, like how it works. And let me tell you,
Mm-hmm.
girl, I was already all over your Instagram watching that video over and over because I was even like, how does this work? And I would consider myself fairly knowledgeable about my body at 55 years old, but I was still like, well, where exactly does it go? Right. So I love that we have those tools now available, like you said, to show women it's not as scary. Like, hey, this is normal. It's normal to stick your own fingers up your body to figure out where things are. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is cool. Like, we have to make it acceptable and cool to know these things. And I think you're kind of hitting all the marks.